All right, we have made it to Custer State Park. We're at the Game Lodge Campground. So we decided to take another shot on the wildlife loop, just go down a little ways. Look at the elk out here in the snow. Dylan made it up the ladder of the Notch Trail. Dylan, how was that?
Difficult.
We have this awesome suspension bridge going across the river.
Not so awesome suspension bridge.
Big boy up here. What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. We have hit 6 months full-time on the road since we left Florida. Seen some really amazing things. We've been to a lot of different places, and it hasn't all been easy. Traveling during COVID has had some of its own struggles and challenges.
Yes, definitely.
But we've seen some really neat stuff. I know we picked up a bunch of subscribers here recently. This would be kind of a recap of our last 6 months. So our original plan when we left Florida was to go west, kind of take a southerly track through Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, up through Utah, Colorado, and ultimately end up in South Dakota. That was our destination when we left Florida, was to be in South Dakota around mid-April, roughly. Yeah. So as COVID started to really ramp up and take off, a lot of our national park reservations got canceled. We had national park reservations at a lot of places out west.
Definitely.
And they started getting canceled. Our state park reservations started getting canceled.
Yep.
So a lot of rules started going in place. New Mexico wasn't letting anybody from outside the state come in, into any of the state parks to camp. So just started running into a lot of that. So we ended up canceling all those reservations, going up into Georgia, hanging out in Georgia. We kept having a bunch of bad weather come through, so we just decided that the first chance we got, when we got a good break in the weather for a few days, we were just gonna hit the road and get to South Dakota, straight direct route to South Dakota.
Yep, we were gonna get to South Dakota as fast as possible.
Yeah, so that's what we did. So we arrived to South Dakota the week prior to Easter, right at the beginning of April.
Yep.
Went to Game Lodge Campground, and that was the first place we stayed in South Dakota,
which is in Custer State Park.
Yes.
Yep.
And talk about an awesome introduction to South Dakota and the Black Hills area. All right, we have made it to Custer State Park. We're at the Game Lodge Campground, and so this is the view from the campsite. Hard to complain about this view right here. Dylan, getting some footage for his channel. And what's he getting footage of? Got some beautiful deer right there, right out behind the campground.
That is just freaking awesome. These are whitetail.
Those are whitetail, yeah.
Look to the right, Mom. There's a bunch more. Alright, guys.
There it is.
Bison or not. Bison or not. I've waited forever to see this. Unlock my window, Mom.
There he is, Dylan.
I saw my first ever bison. Well, I saw some captive ones, but...
Dylan's out of his mind right now.
Oh my
Getting to see his very first wild bison.
Right there. You don't want to be exact. So,
Oh, Dylan.
Bison Jam! Ah, he's just walking by though. Here's the guy who just tried to cross the road. Or he did. Why did the bison cross the road? Get to the other side.
So we're on the way back to our campground after coming off the wildlife loop. And we spot these guys over here in this parking lot, not far from the campground.
Here's 5. Maybe we'll see some bison up here. Yeah, big one. And these guys and bison are very
Head southwest on US 16 East.
How awesome is that? Alright, so we wake up this morning and
Getting ready to get some coffee going. Pop the blinds open there, and we have some visitors out there this morning, right in the field behind the fifth wheel.
Hey there, mister. Oh, God. He said, you got any more carrots for me?
Here, you want to hold this and give him another one?
Sure, I'll try it.
Here, give him another one. Yeah, I got enough.
No,
Back here. Hold it out the
No,
window,
this
Dylan.
side.
There you go.
Definitely the best state park we've been to.
Yeah, but having bison right there behind the campground was pretty neat.
That's pretty neat.
So Game Lodge Campground is situated right by the Wildlife Loop Road, so
Yeah.
super easy access. Out of the campground, you make a right and you're on the Wildlife Loop Road. It's right by the campground. So that was pretty awesome. It made it even more kind of a more neat experience too, because there was only us, the camp host, and one or two other campers,
Yeah.
and they were around on the other side of the camping loop.
Yeah.
So we kind of had the whole little area to ourselves. On top of that, Easter weekend, we got between 5 and 6 inches of snow. So very, very cool. Dylan seen some snow flurries in some of our in one of our previous vacations.
And I
to
thought that
Tennessee.
was exciting.
And so he got to see a significant amount of snow. So we got to experience that for the first time, which, you know, living in Florida my whole life, that's something that definitely never experienced. So to get 5 or 6 inches and have snow all over the ground, and you know, super cold weather. I think we got down to about 10 degrees one night. So
Yeah, Dylan.
It felt like -2 or something.
Dylan joked that some people get a white Christmas. We got a white Easter.
we saw a herd of elk come out. Elk were off in the field, grazing, eating in the snow. Holy cow, man. So we've been inside kind of waiting for the weather to give us a little bit of a break. Didn't really happen, but the temperature did warm up a little bit, so we decided to take another shot on the Wildlife Loop, just go down a little ways, see what we could see. And man, were we rewarded big time. Look at the elk. So everything we read said that it is really tough sometimes to see the elk that live here in Custer State Park. But man, we saw a couple back a little further, and they were too far off to get any kind of good pictures of or anything. Man, these guys are out in force, out here in the snow. Beautiful. 24 degrees right now, snowy. Tremendous amount of wildlife, just a phenomenal campground all the way around. That was kind of our kickoff to our full-time RV adventures. Was there. Originally we were going to work camp. I started a work camping job, and then I had an opportunity come up for a full-time remote position. So that enabled us to have a lot more freedom than the work camping would. So I ended up leaving the work camping job early. And we were really only limited at that point by cell signal. Finding campgrounds that had good signal so that we could work.
But before we left South Dakota, we did go to Badlands National Park.
Watch your stepping down the trail. This is the infamous wooden ladder.
We'll catch you guys at the top. We did it. We made it up the ladder. Dylan made it up the ladder of the Notch Trail. Dylan, how was that?
Difficult. I've never done anything that difficult before in my entire life.
Yes, that is a major accomplishment for Dylan. You're the man, Dylan. So now we just gotta get back down. You did it, dude.
It definitely lives up to where it said moderate to strenuous.
Moderate, strenuous, yeah. How was coming down? How did you like coming down?
No thanks.
No? Going up was cool, coming down not so fun?
Yeah.
Did great, man.
The visitor centers were closed due to COVID, so
This
I
was some
think
disappointment.
that's our biggest disappointments is that
Yeah.
a lot of the national park visitor centers have been closed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, mostly
I
all of
think
them.
that's, it's been an amazing 6 months, but that
Yes, for sure.
is probably by far the biggest disappointment is
Yeah.
the fact that all the visitor
That was
centers
the
were
biggest
closed.
disappointment and the only disappointment, pretty much.
After we left South Dakota, we started working our way over. Went over into Wyoming, saw Devil's Tower, and then traveled north through Montana on our
Yep.
way to Glacier. We knew that the east entrance of Glacier was closed.
Yep.
What we didn't realize was that even you could come in through the west side of Glacier, but you can only go to a certain point because the road leading up to Logan Pass was actually closed. They were doing some construction on it, so really we only got to see a very small portion of the west side of Glacier. It was beautiful. Since the east side of Glacier was closed, everybody had to kind of funnel in through that west side, through the west entrance, so it was extremely busy. We got there to do a hike at 8 o'clock in the morning, and the parking area was already packed, almost completely full. They were having to shut the roads down.
Yeah,
they weren't letting any more
yeah,
traffic come up past there.
There's so many people.
Just so many people. The trails were incredibly busy, so it was beautiful, but having all those people crammed into just that one side definitely made it a little less enjoyable, than I think it would have been had we been able to see the entire park, or at least go up to Logan Pass and kind of at least see the entire half of the park that we were limited to. So what we decided to do instead, we decided to look around and see what else Montana had to offer besides just Glacier National Park, because the state is beautiful. So what we found was the Kootenai Falls Swinging Bridge hike over near Libby, Montana. That was amazing. So we took a trip today out to Kootenai Falls, and they have this awesome suspension bridge going across the river.
Not so awesome suspension bridge.
Dylan's not a fan, but it's awesome. Alright, let's go all the way across. So we looked up some things to do around Montana, and we found this spot, and I am very, very glad that we came and took the drive over it. It's about 2.5 hours from where we're staying over in Hungry Horse, but you come over, you get a phenomenal view of these falls. They have a really awesome suspension bridge that is really, really cool. So we're going to walk down here a little further down this path and see what's down here toward the end. Well, that was definitely worth the walk down to the end of the short little trail. Come on, man. We have been so impressed with Montana. Absolutely love it up here. It is amazing. What an amazing hike. The swing bridge is beautiful. That whole river over there was just awesome. Just a beautiful place. So we thoroughly enjoyed that. We went, and then we actually drove over to Goat Lick Overlook and got an awesome view of all the mountain goats that they have over there. Alright, so we took a drive this morning. It's about 40 miles from where we're staying over by Glacier. We took a ride to the south side of the park. You basically go straight down US 2 through West Glacier. You just continue on all the way around until you get around on the south side of the park near Essex, Montana. And we come down to Goat Lick Overlook. Didn't see a lot of wildlife yesterday. Actually didn't see any wildlife yesterday in Glacier. Very, very busy with a lot of people on the trails and things. We left about 6:30, got here shortly after 7. Nobody here. I mean, the view is outstanding, and as soon as we come up to the little, to the overlook, to the edge here, we can immediately see the mountain goats down there.
But I would recommend you have binoculars. They're pretty far away.
Yeah, binoculars would help. Some of them can be kind of far down in the ravine down there, or up on the mountain, and then.
But they're still super cool to see.
So once we left Montana and the Glacier area, we started working our way back south. Our goal was to go down and visit Yellowstone National Park and then Grand Teton National Park. Man, that place did not disappoint a bit. We ended up staying over at Buffalo Bill State Park, just outside Cody, Wyoming. It was a pretty good hike to get over to the park from there. We had about a 35-mile drive to get from Buffalo Bill State Park into the gate at Yellowstone. Our solution to kind of beating all that traffic that we saw at Glacier, we were kind of concerned that Yellowstone might be the same way. Even though Yellowstone is huge, we still knew that we were there kind of at the peak tourist season. So our solution was to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and get over there and get in the park.
Pretty cool. Under the map.
You can get inside the gate. The gate's open 24 hours. So if you're there, you can get in there anytime. So we got up at 3 o'clock, made the drive over, and by the time we got in the gate, we were hitting the gate at Yellowstone just before 5 o'clock in the morning, which ended up working out fantastic. We had elk crossing the road right as the sun was starting to come up, and then just after 6 o'clock in the morning, I think it was between 6 and 6:30, we got what we came there to see.
Yes. So at 6 to 6:30 in the morning, we saw what we came there to see. Not any kind of bear, a grizzly bear.
Down here this morning driving the Grand Loop Road. See a bunch of traffic on the side and big grizzly bear. Yep, so we saw our first grizzly bear real early in the morning.
Yes,
There was only like 10 cars pulled over there maybe
Yeah.
trying to see it. In fact, that's how we knew it was up on the hill. We actually saw some cars pulled off on the side of the road, saw some people standing off on the side of the
So
road.
we're like, oh, what is it?
We pulled up, looked up the hill, and there was a grizzly bear up there digging around the side of the hill. It was awesome. And then, so we spent the rest of the day there, drove around some more, saw some
Yep.
other things.
Saw some bison, saw some more elk, deer, everything.
Yep, and then as we were leaving on the way out of the park, we saw our second grizzly bear. We're on our way out of the park actually. And what do we see up here on the side of the hill? Big boy up here.
Well, what are you doing now?
That is awesome, man. So awesome.
So on our way out the park?
And this guy is way up here in the mountains. Let's pan around. This is where we see him at.
Wow. On our way out the park, we had to stay on the brakes, came from down there.
Man, how cool is that? And this time, there was only one car there.
Yes, one car.
So we saw it. It was on our way out just before we were getting back up to Sylvan Pass. As we were coming up, we saw a car pull off the side of the road, looked up the hill, and there was an even bigger grizzly bear up there.
Yeah, with one car.
Yeah, so, you know, we were able to pull off and just kind of enjoy watching that bear do his thing up on the side of the hill up there. An awesome day getting to see two of them.
Yes.
We saw a few more bears on our trip as we finished up. We ended up going over there for 3 days.
Bears, no.
Seeing Old Faithful, seeing the Geyser Basin over there. Just a phenomenal place and somewhere that we want to go back when we have more time to where we can kind of really focus and concentrate and do some hikes in that are inside Yellowstone there. And just really
make sure you take your bear spray if you do any hikes in Yellowstone for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And we also got to see Artist Point, which is the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone, and that's another example of getting up early and getting there before the crowd. We pretty much had the place to ourselves.
We're at Artist Point right now in Yellowstone. Great place to kind of get out and stretch your legs, walk. You can see the falls there in the background. Unbelievably beautiful out here this morning. I mean, that's your view looking back behind us this way. You got the falls. Just a fantastic way to start the morning, and it's not even 7 o'clock yet. So we are excited, man. We are super excited. Someplace we've been wanting to get to for a long time. You know, when we got there was like 2 people that were leaving, and
they were just leaving.
You know, so we parked and had that whole overlook all to ourselves. It was awesome.
So pretty much it probably goes without saying, but we'll say it. Which national park that we've been to so far is our favorite?
Yellowstone.
So yes, we loved Yellowstone.
Yes, Yellowstone was great.
Once we left Yellowstone, we went down and visited Grand Tetons. We stayed in Grovant Campground.
Yeah.
It's a first come first served campground, and all the research we did said that the park rarely ever fills, even in the summertime, or if it does, it's very late in the afternoon. Not the case when we were there. We got there around 10 o'clock in the morning, and there were only a very few spots left, so we were very fortunate to be able to get in there. But like I say, Grand Teton was packed. There was so much traffic and there were so many people on the trails. The only hike that we did do was Schwalbacher Landing hike.
Yeah.
Got all checked in to Grovant Campground. hoping to see some moose while we were here. Decided to take a drive, and we got to pay off.
It is resident. It's not.
So we came down here this morning to do the Schwabacher landing hike, not far from Grovant where we're staying. Beautiful hike so far. A little cold this morning, about 36 degrees like Dylan said, but beautiful, beautiful views. Highly recommend it. Out here this morning, coming here on our last day, last full day. Haven't had a whole lot of luck seeing wildlife, but we come down, turned off Antelope Flats Road, and got some beautiful, beautiful deer right up here off to the side. Our luck seeing the wildlife on this trip out to Grand Teton has not been so great, so this is a big bonus for us right here on our last day. Got a beautiful picture of the mountains. I mean, the water was flat, super flat, beautiful bright blue sky there first thing in the morning. But that's the only hike we did, because after about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, like I said, cars were lined up for literally for miles at the trailheads. So some of the challenges, probably the biggest challenge that we faced since we've been on the road, and that was finding campgrounds over the weekend. Finding places to stay over the weekend has been
a big struggle.
A tremendous struggle. It's been very difficult to find somewhere to stay. During the week has been a little tough in certain areas, but over the weekend, finding weekends have been a
big struggle.
A tremendous challenge. There's obviously a lot more people out camping and RVing, and that's great, but boy, it makes finding a site hard.
And I will say that we prefer state parks and Army Corps of Engineers campgrounds, so we're not looking at the resorts. The resorts are probably much easier to get into on the weekends.
I mean, we've been fine. We've found a place to stay, and you know, but it's been not without its struggle.
Sometimes you have to be willing to, a campground might have a site for Friday night, and you have to move sites for a Saturday night.
If you're willing to move around inside the campground, then you can probably find something, but even at that, there's a lot of places we were looking at staying in that were totally full. They didn't have anything. So it's been a struggle. I think the second thing that we really struggled with was really a grocery budget. We had an idea what we were spending in Florida for groceries, and we just kind of, when we were kind of figuring out our budget, our monthly budget, we were just using that figure that we spent on groceries in Florida. And what we found that was, as we got out west, groceries were much more expensive. Our grocery budget was significantly more than we kind of planned on. And even as we worked our way back toward Florida, you know, we just found ourselves, you know, we don't buy a lot of extras. I mean, we only have a little RV refrigerator. We don't have a residential fridge, so we can't, you know, we can't go too crazy at the store because it just won't fit. So,
and I think part of that problem was also because some of the places we were in, they didn't have big chain grocery stores, so it was kind of like small hometown type stores.
Right. You know, in Florida, and even over here now that we've been over back on the eastern side of the U.S., we use Aldi quite a bit. So we shop there, but there's no Aldi out west. Well, there's a few, but they're sparse and few and far between. So
they weren't really in our path.
You know, our grocery budget was just kind of surprised us how much we were spending. By the time it's time for us to go to the grocery store again, our refrigerator is looking pretty pathetic. It is empty. It is bare. You know, so I don't know. Groceries were just quite a bit more expensive out there. So as far as mechanically, really, we haven't had any issues mechanically. Knock on wood. We, you know, everything's done very, very well for us. You know, our 2018 Ram 2500 diesel, been fantastic. The Grand Design 28BH has been awesome. We had a couple little issues. We had a water heater control board go out on us
Oh, yeah.
when we were in South Dakota, but Grand Design shipped me a new board. I replaced it myself, so that wasn't a huge deal. We had the check valve in the water heater come apart, so it blocked any hot water from coming out of it. I found that out on a cold day when I was coming inside and ready to hop in and grab a nice hot shower.
Yes.
There was no hot water to be had.
52-degree water.
It was cold. So that required me to go in there. I pulled the check valve. I took the check valve out and just took the insides out of it, so it would just straight flow through. Everything I read said if you're not going to winterize your unit, then the check valve really isn't super essential. I may get a check valve and put back in it, but it's not very high on the priority list right now.
Yeah.
But other than those two things, that's really it.
Yeah.
It's been, you know, it's been an awesome unit.
As far as any surprises along the way, I guess this would be a good surprise. We found that fuel was quite a bit less than in Florida.
Yeah, the price of diesel was a welcome surprise.
Yes.
Compared to what we were paying. When we left Florida, we were paying in the almost $2.70 a gallon. Once we started kind of getting out up into kind of the Midwest and out west, the price of diesel was much less than we were paying in Florida, which was nice. I mean, we were getting it in some spots for under $2 a gallon,
Yes.
which, man, I'll take that.
197, 198 is what
Yeah.
we recently spent. 197, I think.
So all in all, in the last 6 months, we've been through 21 states total. That's moving around quite a bit. We're working our way back to Florida now. We're going to take care of some doctor's appointments when we get back. And actually, while we're in Florida, we're also going to visit some places that, believe it or not, we haven't visited in Florida. If you guys see the Florida map on the back of our fifth wheel that's in the intro, you would think we've seen almost everywhere there is to see in Florida, but we haven't. There's a few places that we haven't seen, so we're looking forward to getting to some of those. We'll show you guys those spots. So that's been our last 6 months. Dylan, I think we all know the answer to this already, but what was your favorite state? Your favorite place that we went to?
South Dakota.
Yeah, Dylan's a big fan of South Dakota. We're at South Dakota.
Custer State Park.
Yeah, Custer State Park was
Awesome. Phenomenal.
was amazing, and just as awesome, if not more awesome, than some of the national parks that we visited
Yes.
over the last 6 months.
For sure.
For me, it was Montana. You know, of all the states, of all those 21 states that we visited or drove through, the only place that had just the most amazing views that I've ever seen throughout the whole entire state was in Montana. From the time we entered in the south all the way up into the north where Glacier was, even over to the western side when we went over to the falls and the swinging bridge. Just, you know, just driving down the road was an adventure because the views were just outstanding. The weather was beautiful up there, and you know, just the whole feel of that place up there was just awesome. You just felt
Montana
good.
was nice too. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you just felt good being up there. It was awesome.
Yeah. So for me, I have trouble deciding. I can't decide between South Dakota and Montana. So do we see something in common here? We all really liked those areas. So
So I think tentatively, our plans are always subject to change, but I think tentatively when we leave Florida after the first of the year,
The current plan.
yeah, the
But
current
changing
plan.
the plan is the plan.
The current plan when we leave Florida after the first of the year is to head back out west, and with a little bit of luck, we won't have to make that return trip to Florida for any doctor's appointments. So if that's the case, that'll give us about 8 months to spend out west,
Yep.
which is something that we're really, really looking forward to.
There's still so much out there that we didn't get a chance to see yet.
Yeah, we just scratched the surface on what there is to see out there, and we were highly impressed with what we've seen already, and we want to revisit some of those places, visit some new places, and if we had 8 months to do it, that'd be a good deal.
That'd be a good deal, yeah, for sure.
Pretty epic, I think.
Yep. All right, well, I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for tuning in. You know, as always, if you're new to the channel, make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, because there are many, many adventures on the way. And
if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. We're happy to answer them.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So, until next time, we'll catch you guys down the road.